on that was live earlier with me. Unfortunately, I got super sick. It hit me all of a sudden. I don't know if you could tell on the live that I was just on. I got super sick all of a sudden, and so I had to get off. But I'm feeling slightly better now. Still not feeling great, but I said I was going to get back on, so I'm going to try for a little bit. I'm feeling well enough that I could, do live. So we have to persevere. But I hated that I had to hop off the first live, but I appreciate anybody that hops on and hangs out with me. If you're from earlier when I had to go, I'm sorry. I got off of there very quickly, but like I said, I got sick. I just got, you know how like when something just hits you like really quickly? I got hit really quickly. Hi Wilbur, I'm sorry I had to get off like I did. I got really sick. All of a sudden it just hit me. And so I had to hop off so I could get it together and then be able to come back. I'm so sorry. I hate it. Go lay down. Go lay down. I hated that I had to hop off like I did. It was obviously kind of rude, but I couldn't help it. It was either that or you all see me get sick. So I'd rather not. I think it was just we had just eat and it just didn't sit right. Thank you. I appreciate your understanding. I feel a little bit better. Probably need to drink some water, but I appreciate it. And thank you for coming back. Thank you so much. For anybody popping on, if you're unfamiliar, if you just double tap that screen, it will give this video a like. It will help the YouTube people and the algorithm let you know, or let them know that I'm a likable person. Wink wink. And it will help me reach my goal of monetization hopefully this year. I do have a goal of monetization. I want to be monetized this year. I think that me and my husband both have caught something. I don't know why, but we've just felt off. You know how like you can't really pinpoint exactly what it is, but you just feel off. That's how we felt for the last 2 days. 3 days. I've had a running headache just for 3 days, just constant, and not a horrible headache, but just, just a headache. I've got my, does anybody have these wearable blankets? It goes all the way down past my knees. I look like a big polar bear, but my, brother-in-law got it for me for Christmas, and it is so comfortable. It's so comfortable. So I just get dressed for the day, and then I throw this on in my house slippers and my thick socks, and I hang out. It's so comfortable. This one's got it. Yeah, it's like I don't think it's a Snuggie brand, but yeah, it's pretty much, I guess. I have not heard the word Snuggie in so long. That was like a big thing, like a few years ago, the Snuggies. I remember them like being advertised on TV. Yeah, essentially it's a Snuggie. But it's so warm and comfortable. Like I said, I feel like a polar bear, but I love it. And so I sit in it, and where I'm not feeling as good, I figured it'd be perfect. So we were talking on the previous live about the weather. So we've got 5 people that are on here right now. If you want to, you can leave a comment and let us know where you're from and what the weather is like where you're at. We are in Kentucky. We are in the Appalachian region of Kentucky. And it is warmer today than it has been for quite a few days. The temperature's supposed to drop this evening. The temperature is supposed to drop this evening, and we are going to get a little snow this evening. We had rain earlier, and now we're going to get a little snow. So we've had snow. It seems like we have been it seems like we have been hold on, I need to the message is gone. I've got a friend messaging me. I can't even remember what I'm saying. We've had snow for a really long time. It seems like we got more than a lot of other people did. And So that's fun. But it's been warm today. It's been nice as far as being on the warm side, but it's been super muddy. And I know. But enough about me. How is everybody doing? Is any of my gardening people thought about the garden? I did a live the other day where we looked through this seed catalog. I'm hoping to get more in the coming weeks. I have ordered a bunch. I ordered a bunch because I want to show people, the variety that each catalog has. There's so many in here. I want to do the garden a little bit different this year. I want to kind of do things. I want to kind of do things a little bit different, put some different things in different places. And so I really need to put it down on paper. I've got a bad habit of like having ideas and then not putting them down on paper. I really need, is anybody else like that? Do you just like get a good idea and then I've got a horrible memory, so the idea leaves me and then I don't have the idea anymore. But we've got multiple places on our farm that will work to put different things in, and I just kind of want to mix it up. Last year we mixed it up a little bit, and the specific area that I put a couple plants actually worked better than it did in the main garden. And so I kind of want that, I want to see if different areas work a little bit better. We were in a bad drought last year, and the drought affected our main garden. And so some of the things that weren't doing well in the main garden were doing well in the experimental garden. And they did better, and so we were able to get some of the things that we weren't going to get out of the main garden. So I need to write it down. I think it would be fun to just like sit down and do a video and kind of maybe talk through what my ideas are. You can tell I'm from Appalachia, can't you? What my ideas are. The fact that it's so hard for me to say ideas instead of ideas and I talk is crazy to me. It's crazy. It's that Appalachia just coming right out of me. What my ideas are. Ideas is more like it. It's ideas though. That Appalachian language. There's a video that's popping up. I think it's on YouTube or on my Facebook. It's like a thing. And I think it's called the Appalachian Project. And they've been going to different places of Appalachia and then taking recordings of people in these different places and having them say Appalachia, like how they actually say Appalachia. And I love it. I love hearing the different people's voices. It's amazing to me that how in different areas people sound different. I'm actually in our area. I've been raised here. I've lived in our specific area for over 20 years. For over 20 years we've lived here. And in our specific area, if I go pretty much just a couple counties over, they're like, where are you from? But they don't say it as redneck as me. They say, where are you from? Are you from down south? And I always gotta say, no, I'm from here, just a couple counties over. I always say, if you think I'm bad, you should talk to my husband, because my husband's accent is thick. And our daughter's is a combination of my husband's and mine, and it's the cutest thing. She says just the cutest things. It's so sweet. The way she talks, I love it, and other people love it. But that's one thing about Appalachia. You might meet a few people that are ashamed of their accent and how they speak, but I'm proud of it. I love the way that we sound. I love the way that we talk. I love that you can tell, that where we're from. Like, there's no denying, that we're from the South. Like, you can listen to somebody open their mouth and you can tell, if they're from the North or the South or the West or wherever. You can tell just by the way that they speak. And I love just being able to be identified by the way that I speak. I love it. And I think that it's a sense of pride that we should have. I had watched the Appalachian documentary, and it was a girl who was more eastern than us, but not far. Probably about, she grew up about 2.5 hours from where I'm from. And she said that she went to school, and she went to a more prestigious school. And she said that she hated her accent, and that she was embarrassed by her accent. And she ended up in California. She was like a reporter or something. I think she ended up in California, and she purposefully changed her accent to be something that don't sound like us. And I have a pride in the way that we sound, and I'm perfectly okay with sounding different than other people. And I don't know, I enjoy just being me. I've heard people talk or try to talk like us, and I've heard people almost make fun of it, like in some sense, that because we talk the way that we do, that we're ignorant. But it's far from it. I mean, we can have the same education, be just as educated as, somebody down the road, and still talk the way that we do. It's just, it's hard to prevent. It's hard to prevent. But they say that people in the South have more of a closer dialect to what our ancestors did coming over to America. The immigrants that came over to America, they say that the Southerners have closer to the dialect of that than people of the North. So I don't know. I find it very interesting. I think that if we can hold on to history a little bit longer, then we should. Thank you. The South talks the best. I agree. I totally agree. Team Quack Attack is their name. I love that. Quack Attack. Do you have chickens or ducks? I'm sorry, I'm out of sorts. Do you have ducks? If you have ducks, what kind of ducks do you have? I'm curious. I can't tell. Is your picture of a frog with teeth? We raised ducks for a short period of time when our child was little, and I'm not big on ducks. I'm not big on keeping ducks. I've never tasted duck, but people that I've talked to, there's some people said it's good, other people said it's kind of oily. And I don't know if it's, by that it's oily. I just, in my mind, I'm thinking oily meat, Yes, it's a bullfrog with human teeth. I love it. I love it. You want to know a secret? It's not really a secret. I'm terrified of frogs. I'm terrified of them. I have an irrational fear of frogs. Eric said he wished he talked Southern. Hi, Eric. How are you? I'm terrified of frogs. They scare me. I'll tell you why, though. I might have told this story on here before, but my cousin Corey, love his heart, he's all country boy, and he used to catch frogs, and they taste good, really. He used to catch frogs, and you know how like old tree frogs will stick to stuff. Well, he had caught a frog. We were standing in my grandma's house, and he'd walked in. He said, "Look at this frog." Well, when he looked at it, he let go of it. It hopped, and when it hopped, it landed and stuck to my eyeball. And that was it. That is all she wrote. And I don't like frogs just for that. They scare me. I can be around them like it's not, crazy, but if I'm around one, I got my eye on it. And I'm making sure, But I have an irrational fear of rats and mice as well. But I have been working on that fear, and I've been able to get a little bit closer to frogs than I could have, a couple years ago. So I have been working on it. I haven't just had an irrational fear for no reason. I feel like I feel like a frog trying to stick to your eyeball and take it away from you is a good reason to be scared of them, And then rats and mice, I feel like that's reasonable. They're fast moving. They get in your stuff, Name is a hunting club. Oh, didn't know that. So, do you hunt ducks? Then, Quack Attack, Team Quack Attack. You said it's a hunting club. What do you hunt? I've never hunted ducks. But we like to hunt. We hunt squirrel and raccoons and deer and I don't know. Stuff, I've never hunted ducks though. Interesting. Eric says he hates snakes. My dad hates snakes. My dad thinks the only good snake is a dead one. And I've watched him go to town on some snakes. That is his opinion. The only good snake is a dead snake. And see, my mom I've not got a big fear of snakes. Danger Noodle. I've not got a big fear of snakes. My mom doesn't have a big fear of snakes, but she said when I was a kid, there used to be a garter snake that would coil up on the porch in sun. Used to cool up on the porch and sun, and when she come home from work, it'd be there. Well, my dad would get in later, and so he'd not see the snake. Well, one day he come home from work early, and he took care of the snake. Wink, wink. She just let him, be. It wasn't bothering her. She wasn't gonna bother it. And he took care of it. I vaguely remember. I remember it being. I was probably about 3 or 4. I remember him running off to the shed and getting a machete or a shovel or something. But yeah, he took care of it, and that's all she wrote. But snakes don't bother me too bad. Garter snakes don't bother me. I'm actually more interested in looking at snakes. We actually, speaking of hunting, we go snake hunting, and among hunting other things, we don't hunt them to eat. We just mostly go look for them. You call it, I guess that's herping. We herp. We look for turtles and stuff like that. Snakes. It's fun for us. We love to do it. Anything to be outside, anything to be outdoors, you can count us to it. And so we do. We haven't went snake hunting in a while, but usually in the summer we go, and it's fun. It's fun. You just got to watch out. Years ago, my husband and myself. I was trying to think of how long ago it was. I was trying to think if I had my daughter or not. I cannot remember, but me and my husband went into the woods, and we went up. We have pipelines that go through our area, up our mountains and stuff, and we were walking up this pipeline, and made it up the pipeline and come back down. We were coming back down out of a path that we, the path we went, and it was kind of like dirt, and then like how it's not really a road, but it's like people drive through it. It's kind of like a 4-wheeler trail, and like how they'll get the puddles in them. It's got a little water in it, and so this in the center of this road was a puddle. I don't know. We'll say like 4 foot long, maybe 3 foot wide. Wasn't, anything crazy. Maybe even small, maybe 3 foot wide and, somewhere in there. Hey, PJ. And we're talking about snakes. And we were walking down this road. It's essentially a trail, 4-wheeler trail. We're walking on the trail, and there's, this this puddle. So obviously we're not going to walk through the puddle. We're going to walk on the edge of the road. And we're walking on the edge of the road, and it's like a path, you know, like this. The dirt's here. On the other side, it's woods. And so you're not going to, you know, walk through the woods if you don't have to. And so I'm walking this path. Well, my husband goes first, right? He goes first. He's the one that's supposed to be looking for, you know, like rattlesnakes and copperheads, because those are the danger noodles, you know. Running up on a garter snake, no big deal. Rat snake, no big deal, you know. Stuff like that, it ain't a big deal. What you don't want to run into is the rattlesnakes and the copperheads, okay? So we're walking, and he goes ahead of me because he's supposed to be looking for the snakes, right? Okay, so we're walking. He walks through. I feel something under my foot, and I look down, and I stepped on a copperhead. I stepped on it, and when I stepped on it, it slithered out from underneath it. That's how I knew, because it rolled, you know, like here's the snake, my foot, I'm trying to demonstrate. I step on it and it rolls, and it must have been the tip of it, because it was it was moving. And listen, if there's one snake you don't want to step on, it's a copperhead. It's a copperhead, because they will fight you, you know, like they will fight you. Thank God this copperhead was having a good day. And so when I step on it, it rolls. It must have, like I said, it must have been the end of it, and it slithers off. Well, it slithers through that puddle and goes across the end of the road. Well, I'm in shock. And I tell my husband, I was like, you're supposed to be watching for snakes. He's like, I didn't see no snake. I said, yes, I just stepped on a copperhead. And he still to this day, claims that it was not a copperhead and that there was no snake, because he didn't see it. But guys, it was a snake. It was like, if you know copperheads, they're kind of, there's a range of colors, but, you know, they could be the color of the dirt. And it really was very close to the color of the dirt that we were stepping on. I don't know why it missed my husband. He must not have stepped on it. The only thing I can think is I was right behind him. When he stepped over it, it scared him, and he was trying to get away. And by that point, my front, you know, like Andy steps over it. By that point, my front foot is probably, you know, not far from where my husband's at, because I was walking pretty close to him, not far from where my husband's at. So he's trying to get, you know, the copperhead's trying to get away, and my foot just happens to be on the end of it. I'm thinking that I was looking up at, you know, the back of my husband, and then when I looked down, I seen something move. Listen, when you're out in the woods, the number one rule is to always be looking down. And I let my guard down and looked up for just a split second and stepped on a copperhead. So the number one rule, I'll repeat it again, if you are in the woods, it's always to look down, especially if you have poisonous snakes in your area. I just threw a bowl at my dog, a lid, because he's being rotten. Threw it over top of him. I didn't hit him for all the animal activists on here. But yeah, the number one rule in the woods is to always be looking down. Always. And and so I could have died, guys. I could have died. I'd rather getting bit by a copperhead. It would be no fun. So, but we've got all kinds of stories of being out in the woods. I guess I'll tell y'all some more. We were in the same area. Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. I'm an outdoors girl now because I married an outdoorsy husband. If I didn't marry no city boy, his mama, he's a hard dog to keep under the roof, and his mama will, you know, his mama will vouch for him. She said she couldn't keep him in the house when he was a kid. And so when he got with me, I was raised in town, not in city, but town. And where we were raised in town, I just, you know, my dad was country, and he was he was a farm boy growing up, but he moved us to town. And my mom, you know, she was always a town kid. And so all that to be said, he married me, and I loved animals. I loved being outside, but I just didn't really have the opportunity, for people to take me out much. My dad would take me fishing when I was younger, but, nothing crazy. So I married a country boy, and he's always outside, always loves to be outside, and I'm the same way now. And he took me squirrel hunting for the very first time. And so I was probably 18 years old. I was 18 years old when me and my husband got together. I was probably about 18 years old, and maybe 19. Probably 18, though, when he took me hunting for the very first time. And we were in that same area going hunting. We were going squirrel hunting. And I didn't realize how cute squirrels are. And still to this day, I think they're awful cute. We eat them, it's food, whatever. But I didn't know. And I didn't know how cute squirrels were. And he had took me hunting for the very first time. Okay, so we're shooting squirrels. Well, he would like tie them together. So we'd have a string. He would tie the squirrels to the string. And the string was getting heavy, and he was getting tired of carrying it. Or no, he would kill him, and then he would tie him to the string, or unalive him. I don't think I could say that on the internet. I'd unalive him, and then tie him on the string, and then he would have me carry him. He'd just keep tying him on. And they were getting so heavy. And I think that specific day I had like a nice outfit on because, we were dating, whatever. He didn't tell me he was going to take me hunting. And so I had a pair of his pants on because I had a nice outfit. I'm going to say, I don't know. Maybe it was a church day. I can't even remember. It might not have been. I had a nice outfit on. Anyways, I was wearing his pants. And my husband's tiny anyways. But at this point in time, I was probably 100 pounds. Like soaking wet. So I had his pants on. They were kind of big. And the squirrel line was getting heavy with squirrels. And so he hands them to me. And I'm looking at them like, oh, they're so cute, These little squirrels. They got little tiny little baby faces. If you've never seen a squirrel up close or never seen a dead squirrel, they look really sweet, especially when they're dead. And anyways, he tied them to my pants. This is my first hunting experience ever. He ties them to my pants, so I've got a big string of squirrel on my belt loop, blood dripping down my legs on these pants and dripping out of them, because it's hunting. And but me talking about that being in the woods, that made me think of that. He broke me really fast. He broke me really, really fast. I'm thankful for him. But yeah, that was my very first hunting experience. Since then, we've had multiple. We eat squirrel often. But yeah, that's my does anybody else have a very first hunting experience? Who was the first person that took you hunting? When I worked on the bridge crew, we kept having water snakes come after us. I unalived 4 of them. Copperhead. Oh, yeah. Copperheads are mean. You used to think chipmunks were cute until you grabbed one without a glove on. I can imagine. I can imagine. Like I said, they're cute. When you're looking them in the face, it's a little bit different. Like when they're deceased, it's a little bit different. They do have a cute little face. Our livestock guardian dog is bad to get chipmunks. He sees them as, like an issue. And so he's bad to get them. But yeah, the little critters like that are awful cute. Everything is cute till it bites you. Yeah. That's what I tell people about rabbits. They're like, oh my gosh, how in the world do you eat those rabbits? And I'm like, just wait until, they're scratching you every time you grab one, or, if they're mean, they're biting you. I don't keep mean rabbits, but there is rabbits that have sent people to the emergency room. When people talk about that, I always bring it up that I had seen a girl when I was first getting into rabbits that had gotten bit right here, and I can't even remember how many stitches she had to have on just one finger that a rabbit had bit. It was like I mean, it went down to the bone. The rabbit bit all the way down to the bone. Yeah, everything is cute until it bites you. You're absolutely right. I know someone that had a doe. They needed to put a shield up to yeah, that's insane. Yeah. Yeah, especially doe rabbits. They are mean. They are mean. It's funny because you brought that up, and then I got to talk about mean rabbits. I seen on Facebook, I can't remember if it was a video or what it was. A woman commented on this other person's cage. So she had a setup. I think it was a cage. I'm almost positive it was, but you couldn't even see the floor. It was covered in straw because she had babies in there. And I can't even remember what she was talking about, but a woman commented on it and said, domesticated rabbits were never meant to be outside. Put that rabbit out of the cage is horrible for their feet. I can't even remember exactly what they were trying to tell these people. And the person commented was like, pretty much telling them they were dumb. I had no clue what they were talking about. Domesticated rabbits, they said, were never meant to be outside. Somebody lied to them, you know, like domesticated rabbits were created so they could keep them in cages and then eat them later on. They were not domesticated for pet. They were domesticated to eat. They brought them out of the wild to raise more to eat them. Yeah, rabbits were never meant to be inside. You're absolutely right. And here's the thing is, like, people are bringing stuff in like goats, and I've talked about this on lives before. People are bringing stuff in like goats and cows into their house, and then, you know, like, it's like acting like it's okay, like it's normal, you know, like they're not dogs, you know. You said monks back in the day raised quail and rabbits to feed the monastery. Yeah, let's just get this out right here. If you're an animal activist, this is probably the wrong channel. Rabbits were not domesticated for pets. Like he said, quail were not domesticated for pets. They were brought in and domesticated so that they could reproduce, so that people could have a meat source. They were brought in for food. Obviously, they found some that were a little bit sweeter. Down through time, they started breeding smaller rabbits that were, you know, easier to maintain. I was under the impression when I first got rabbits that Flemish Giants were like pets. They're not. Flemish Giants are not really. I'd always assumed, because people had said that they, you know, they were like pets and they were gentle. Flemish Giants are not. They are just as, you know, they're just kind of wild tempered, just like a New Zealand or something like that. If you're wanting a pet, I would look into Rexes, mini Rexes, Lops, like Holland Lops, your smaller breed of rabbit. Now, Rex is a kind of a larger breed of rabbit, but they only get like anywhere, you know, like 9 to 10 pounds, which is kind of heavy, but mini Rex is definitely a good option for that. But if you are looking for pet, don't go for the largest size rabbit you can find, you know, because that's not going to be it. I understand goats and stuff in colonial times where you needed extra heat in the winter, but was a dirt floor barn house and you lived in the loft. Yeah, people are bringing like mini cows into their house to live, you know, goats. There's a woman local that has boar goats, a boar buck goat. I haven't seen pictures of him in the house for a while, but boar buck goat, especially a male in the house, is a bad idea. Hi, beautiful, from Argentina. Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Let me see. Pigeons were used for eggs before chickens. I did not know that. That is interesting. Has anybody looked into homing pigeons? I think it would be so cool to have homing pigeons. Why I would waste my money on that, I have no clue why, just for the cool factor. I think it would be so cool to have homing pigeons. Hey, Eric, are you still on here? We hunt big hunting a big ranch. My buddy got charged by older cow. Yeah, knocked him down, stomped him on. Uh, Let me see. Stomped on him. Oh yeah, cows are dangerous, especially bulls. We had my grandpa had a mean turkey growing up. He had turkeys and a rooster that was so mean that us kids couldn't even get around. They'll hurt you. Uh, well, just you did, but that's not a big deal. I was just if he comes back up, I can't even remember what his name was. If you're busy, it's no big deal. I haven't had any issues with spam so far. So, let me see. You had a goat pop into the coop. Is that what you're saying? Band and all. But yeah, I don't think, I think people are trying to do things. Oh, a home. Oh, that would be so cool. Wouldn't it be so cool to have a homing pigeon? Oh, trying to get your. Are you doing? You need to. Everybody tell him he needs to do lives while he's working on his tractor. I think that it would boost your channel. If you've done some and I've missed it, I'm sorry. I don't. But... Oh, cool. He kept hanging with your chickens. He didn't want to go back home. He didn't want to go back home. Don't they usually like have they have to have the female there? Maybe he just didn't want to go back home to his wife. You have to have two homing pigeons, right? You have to have a male and a female. Am I incorrect there? Don't they like come back home because their partner's home? He didn't want to go back home to his wife, his hen. He kept hanging with your chickens. I put if you haven't watched, you haven't watched our channel, I've got the little big stocks. I've been putting off, he said maybe. I've been putting off putting my little big stocks in with my big chickens, but I finally did it today, mostly because I was worried that the low temperatures that the big stocks were going to kick the little big stocks out and they were going to die. I've never transferred that I can remember big stocks, like younger big stocks in with the bigger big stocks during winter. I'm worried that they're going to kick them out or, one of them's going to get stuck out in the cold and then it's going to die. But I got to get over the fear because I put them out there tonight and hopefully they do okay. I don't know. My chickens kept chasing him around though. It was funny to watch. That's hilarious. I think it'd be cool to have some, but it'd be a total waste of money. Like what's like what? I'm gonna have Andy drive down the road, drop one off, and then bring it back. Like it would literally be such a waste. It's like one of those animals that you want, and everybody, like every farmer knows this. You've got animals that you want that you could like afford to have, but like it would be such a waste. Like, or you can afford to have, and it would still be a waste. $9 each. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. Yeah, there ain't nobody. I don't think there's anybody around here that does that. I know that there's multiple people that, like for hunting clubs, they will have like quail. But I'm thinking, I might be wrong, but I think when you do the quail for like hunting clubs and stuff, it needs to be stuff like Bob White's or something like that. I think, it's got to be like kind of a specific kind. By the way, I think I told you in an email, but putting the quails in a smaller place has worked out well. So, but since I brought them out of the light, I'm not getting as many eggs. Yeah. Well, listen though. Listen, we had a situation happen. I moved the quail. I didn't video that day because I was just having a bad day. Yesterday was just a bad day. Like I was telling somebody earlier, we've been sick somehow, and it's just like I've been down. Okay, so yesterday was a bad day, and I didn't record it. But was it the day before yesterday? I don't know. One of the days, the day before yesterday, I put the quail in my pen that I had built for chicks, that I used over the summer or the fall. And I put them in there, and somehow the end of it came open. I think accidentally bumped into it or something. Well, all the quail were out. And so when we pull into the drive, there's 2 quail out in the driveway. And the distance from our barn to the driveway is quite a distance for little tiny quail to be. So they had been out of their pen for a good while. Well, they were everywhere. Okay, so they're all over. I had put the pen in the rabbit tree, so they're all over in the rabbit tree. Majority of them are in the rabbit tree, thank God. But 2 or 3 of them were out in the driveway. So I catch one. There's another one that was easy to catch, and then there's this male. Well, he makes me chase him around the garage and back into the barn, and he's flying. His hind end's flying. And he flies a distance, and then he lets me get him. It was almost like he flew, and then when I walked up on him, he's like, well, she's going to get me anyway, so I'll just let her get me. But yeah, I was like, dude. So I don't know how they got that far. Thank God everybody made it. I'm surprised a hawk or something didn't get them. I've never had anything get out like that. Well, I take that back. I had a rabbit get out one time. She chewed through, I had her on, in that same exact cage, but it was a different wire. It had rusted. We didn't realize it. And she had chewed through an area and got out. She's due to have babies. She gets out. And I'm like, she's a goner. She's a goner. And I think the only thing that saved her was that Koa, our livestock guardian dog, was there. I think that they do that when they're getting ready to have kids. I think that they just feel the need to just go somewhere. And so she got out, and I checked the woods and I didn't see her. And my husband went to this one area of the woods, and she was building a nest. She had leaves and stuff in her mouth and had built a nest, and she just wanted to have babies out in the wild. He found her, and she didn't even fight. She had babies and was just fine. It was actually Pipsqueak. I don't know if anybody remembers her, but yeah, she got out. I think I did a video on it, actually, of her getting out. It was awful. I thought, gosh, she's dead, and I just lost all those babies with her. But I didn't. She made it. Let me see. You said March 7th is when I start getting study supply again. Hopefully we will. I had a mama and 5 kids get out. Yeah, I found them. And yeah, I think it's just natural for them to just want to, find a place, which makes sense, even humans nest. They all ran up to me like, hey, what's up, doc? It was the what's up, doc, for me because it was punny. I get the pun. Is it pun? I get the reference. If it's not a pun, I get the reference. Has anybody on here grew loofahs? Like the loofahs, like the loofah plants, the loofah vines. My little girl does a where we homeschool. We do a homeschool thing on Thursdays. We go to the library, and for Christmas she got a Tom and Jerry hoodie. And the lady that does her class is an older lady. And she asked us, she said, you like Tom and Jerry? And it was yeah. And she's telling her all the, we watch Popeye and Tom and Jerry and, what's the other ones? What's that polar bear and the penguin? And, the old ones. And the, barely Technicolor. Mostly black and white. That's the ones we watch. And when you said that, it made me think of that. Jacqueline's growing them this year? Cool. Because I want to try to grow them this year, too. And I want to see, I'm excited about, listen, all last year I wanted to grow them, And because I feel like we grow them 1 year and that, you know, like we won't need to grow them. Like they're a crop that like you grow 1 year and you won't really need to grow them the next year. You know what I mean? Especially if you have a small family, unless you sell them or something, which would be really cool if you could sell them. But I feel like, hold on. I feel like I'm super excited to do it. Where did you all order your seeds? I wanted to, hold on. I'll be right back, Mike. Don't go. Don't go away. Okay, so this is last year's Seed Saver Exchange catalog. My mother-in-law has the new one this year's, but for whatever reason they didn't send it to me. But I was telling you about the bean seeds, the green beans, and I wanted to show you because I was telling you about the turkey crawl pole beans and the rattlesnake. See, this is the rattlesnake right here. It's kind of like dragon tongue. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get it in the shot. Can you see it? It looks like dragon tongue, except it's different. It's Appalachian. It says the rattlesnake snap, also known as the preacher bean, has a distinctive dark green pod streaked with purple. Grow up to 8 inches long. And when you're cooking the rattlesnake beans, when they're on the vine, they have the green on them, but once you cook them, or the purple on them, but the purple goes away, and they have such a beautiful like pink fuchsia what's it called, flower, what is that called, why can't I think of what it's called, the little flower that comes up. It's so pretty. They're absolutely beautiful, and rattlesnakes are so prolific and they taste so good, but they are the flower, I guess I'm right. I was thinking bulb. It's not bulb. Bloom. That's the word. Bloom. They have such a pretty little pink fuchsia bloom on them. And they're very, very prolific. Like you'll get them as soon as they, once they start, they hardly want to stop. Like we pick these up until like October, November, depending on how well the weather does. Let me see. I lost my place. Light buff seeds splashed with dark brown, resembling a rattlesnake coloration. Very fine flavor. Vines grow vigorously, 10 foot. Good resistance to drought. Pole bean habits. Snap 60 to 90 days. They're a really, really good bean. I was thinking that turkey crawl beans were in this as well. Yeah, here's the turkey crawl. It doesn't show the actual bean, but this is the bean seed. They're really pretty. Can you see it? Yes, yeah, they're a pole bean. And they're a string bean, so you'll have to string them. Turkey crawl are as well. They're pole beans and string beans. It says collected in a region of Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. This variety's original seed is reported to have been found. Oh, here's the story. Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. You can dry them. Yeah, they dry well. Very well. I don't know if I have any. Let me see. I've got some dried beans here. Hold on. Hold on, I've got... Let me get my dry bean collection out here. That's sunflower seeds. Okay, here, there's some rattlesnakes in here. These are old. These I saved to dry to eat, but we didn't eat them, and so I saved them for seed. These are from 2021, so they're kind of old. But yeah, they dry very well. I did leather breeches. Trying to find a rattlesnake bean, though, that you can still see the stripes on. Can you see it? Yeah, they dry very well. These beans here, I believe, are cut short greasy beans. Those are greasy grits. This is greasy grits as well. Cut shorts. We have two varieties of greasy beans. And let me see. These are cut shorts as well. Those are cut shorts. These are cut short with rattlesnake. This was a cross that we had from 2020. I wish we would have planted these. But they cross-pollinated, and they came out real short. See, because like a rattlesnake bean is like, they get like that big. But they crossed with the cut short, and the cut shorts are like this big. So they had a real pretty, bloom. And they tasted really good. We loved them. So we also grew a bean last year. My leather britches. If they dry out like this and I don't eat them, I just usually save them for seed. If the seed, obviously, these are really hard. It's hard to, these are probably from 2000. This is probably from 2020 here. I probably need to get rid of them because these are like hard, and the beans are falling off of them. But I'm Appalachian. I can't be found, throwing a bean out. So I don't. But yeah. Anyways, I got seeds coming out everywhere. But yeah, they dry very well. If you'll notice, some of those beans are yellow. I did an experiment. See, that one's kind of green there. I did an experiment with leather britches and put some out in the sun and some, I dried some in the window, and then I dried some in my pantry with the door closed. We don't have our pantry is, that's our pantry right there. It's closed. And didn't let the light in. And see, that's why we save them, because look at that. Those are perfectly good beans. And I've had beans like from 2019 grow, so I ain't throwing nothing out. Listen, if an apocalypse happens, we can boil these and eat them. I'm not throwing them out. No way, Jose. No way. See, these right here are old. These are from 2020. They're brown. They're brown. But why? Like, why would I throw that away? Like, I can eat those. These are all dried. All dried beans. Look at that. Food. I call that food. So I ain't throwing them away. But anyways, I recommend, if you like pole beans, if you all have got space for pole beans, I recommend the turkey crawl or the I planted beans from my grandfather. Yeah, that beans are like, I think beans are the exception for seeds. Beans and corn. I feel like you can have corn and beans. That's probably why the pioneers, ate corn and beans a lot, because I feel like corn and beans are the exception when it comes to seeds. Like, there's some things. You're from Egypt? Cool. Beans. That's awesome. I'm going to set these over here just to get them out of the way. I feel like corn and beans are the exception when it comes to things that, are out of date, seeds that are out of date. I'd say. I was looking at this book, though, because I recommended you to the Seed Saver Exchange. What I like about Seed Saver Exchange is it's U.S. based. It's also like multiple different collectors from the U.S. So these are like people like us, like you and me, that collect seeds and then exchange them. So if you could get your hand on some greasy beans, greasy grits or greasy beans, thank you. I appreciate it. Those would be the best, but I don't even know who to recommend you to get greasy beans. If you could find the cut short greasy beans or pink tip greasy beans, maybe I can get enough seeds together to maybe share with people. The greasy beans? Or is that what you're asking me? You don't understand me? Mike, are you asking about how you spell greasy beans? It's spelled like grease in your hair. Like if my hair is greasy. Like there's grease on the stove. That kind of grease. I would look for cut short greasies. Now, how you tell what a greasy bean is, like a true Appalachian greasy bean, the reason why they're called that is because they shine. So you know how typically a green bean is kind of like a dull. I don't know how to explain it, but they're like, what are you do? What do I do for like work? This is what I do for work. This right here. You know how like you know how like a green bean is more like a flat green color. A greasy bean, the reason why they're called greasy bean is because they're shiny. They glisten. They're it's more of a shiny or like a greasy color. That's why they're called a greasy bean. There's different varieties, and depending on where you're from, I'll see if I can find somebody that, or be able to refer you, Mike. I'll send you an email if I can find somebody that would be like a good source of the bean. I wish I had some to give you, but I don't. But they are excellent to try. They're another type of pole bean. As well. They're short. They're a shorter bean, but they're full of flavor. They're a string bean. But they're definitely full of flavor and they're really good. Actually, Seed Saver Exchange might possibly have a greasy bean in their catalog this year. I would have to check. The other catalog is at my mother-in-law's house, the new one. I'm waiting on mine to come in. This one is pencil pod golden wax, and it kind of looks waxy. That's kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Can you kind of see where it's like shiny looking as opposed to like the flat green bean? This is similar to that shine. I don't know if you can even really tell in a live, but those are my favorite. Those are my favorite. The rattlesnake, the cut short greasy beans. I like the pink tip an awful lot as well. That's the first year. Last year was the first year we ever raised the pink tip. If they do well again this year, I will probably offer to send some to some people. I just want to make sure they're still good. They did better in the drought last year than any other bean we've ever had, though. Any other bean we've ever had. Done excellent in the drought. They were the first ones to bloom. The only issue is they were the first ones to bloom, but also the first ones to go. So they didn't have a long, life, a long harvesting period. But one thing about green beans is that they can be planted over and over and over again. And so, but I'm going to try. No, we are from the U.S., we're in the States. I'm going to try them again this year, and if they work out well, they are probably going to be my top tier favorite. What I like about the rattlesnake beans is just their taste, the length of the bean, and how you can, get them for a long period of time. They produce for a long period of time. But if we can get those pink tips that way, maybe adapt into our soil a little bit more, I think that we can get them, going, and they'll probably be my favorite. They had an excellent taste. And cooking green beans the Appalachian way, it's more about the taste of the bean. So but yeah, they were really good. Well, guys, we've been on here for about an hour. If you missed the first live I did earlier today, I had to abruptly quit. I got sick, and I told everybody on that live that I would be back, and so I wanted to come back. I feel better than what I did earlier, but I want to get a hot bath after being sick. So I appreciate everybody that come to hang out. Thank you, Eric, for being my moderator, whatever you call it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mike, for hanging out. And I will try probably tomorrow to see if I can find a good, a reliable link to greasy bean seeds. But I appreciate everybody's watch. Appreciate everybody hanging out. If you haven't double tapped the screen to like the video, I would appreciate it if you did. Thank you, Mike, so much. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you guys. But guys, thank you all so much for hanging out, and hopefully we can see you on the next one. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.